It is unlawful under Florida state statutes for a person to openly carry on or about their person a firearm, an electric weapon, or electric device. How are these guys doing it? That's up next. If we haven't met yet, my name's Jeff Lauder. I'm a Florida licensed attorney with a unique background as a law enforcement officer and military veteran. I use my 18 years of experience in training, responding to, and having everything to do with law enforcement as a first responder to help people navigate their legal problems as a criminal defense attorney. I've been making these types of videos on a variety of legal topics that might interest you. I encourage you to go check out my channel and look at the past videos. Quality's not always there, but the subject matter is still on point. Today, we're talking about open carry of firearms and some of the exceptions that allow people to carry the firearms blatantly in front of police officers, kind of brashly. They call themselves auditors. We're not getting into their tactics or purpose. That's a whole other topic. Let's just talk about the legal exceptions that they're using to get this done. So the default position of the Florida statute is that you cannot openly carry firearms on or about your person. We just read that. But the law, just like a lot of laws, starts with an exception. This statute has two exceptions in it. One exception is actually articulated within the body of the statute, and that's for concealed carry holders. If you accidentally show your firearm while walking or reaching for your wallet or something like that, you are covered. But that doesn't answer the question as to how these people are carrying firearms openly on their person in front of the police officers. The second type of exception listed in this statute is one that you got to do some homework for, because it says except as otherwise provided. That means you got to actually do the homework, understand what your particular exception is, and present that affirmatively. So in this particular case, the exception that these people are using in order to navigate, freely with guns out in the open in front of the police officers is under Florida State Statute 790.25, which is lawful ownership, possession, and use of firearms or other weapons. And if we look down to subsection 3, which is parentheses 3, lawful uses. The provisions of 790.053 and 790.06, that's the concealed carry and the open carry statutes, do not apply in the following instances, and despite such sections, it is lawful for the following persons to own, possess, and lawfully use firearms and other weapons, ammunition, and supplies for lawful purposes. And it lists out those lawful purposes, one of which under subsection H. A person engaged in fishing, camping, or lawful hunting, or going to or returning from a fishing, camping, or lawful hunting expedition. You carry a fishing pole in a backpack, and now you can carry a gun just about wherever you go. You better be able to tie that you're actually going to a lawful fishing event. Won't be too difficult. I don't think you can run into this problem very often. The Second Amendment auditors are approaching police officers and challenging the police officers' intricate knowledge of the detailed exceptions of the Florida statutes with regards to concealed and open carry. But these police officers aren't being taught the detailed minutia of these statutes. That's something they find out on their own. So when you have an auditor trained in the nuance versus a police officer who's never experienced that before, it becomes a power clash. There's no surprise here. It's a standard power clash. You would know this would happen. You may or may not know one of my responsibilities is also to teach in the police academy. So I went to the police academy manual and I reviewed all the stuff that we teach with regards to dealing with concealed and investigating weapons related offenses, concealed and open carry. The information is very minimal in what's actually taught in the Police Academy manual. Weapons offenses are taught in Chapter 2 under the legal section, and it provides this. The unlicensed carry of weapons or concealed firearms is a violation of 790.01, is a misdemeanor/felony. The state must prove the following elements to convict a defendant of carrying a concealed weapon without a license. The defendant was not licensed. The defendant knowingly carried on or about his person a firearm or weapon or electric weapon or device. The firearm, weapon, or electronic device was concealed from the ordinary sight of another person. That's really it. I mean, these officers aren't being trained to the nitty-gritty level, so to expect them to have the answers and to know whether that's legal or not to carry a firearm in that circumstance of walking down the road, I don't know. Does it matter? Just to stay on topic, I also looked through the Police Academy book for any mention of the Second Amendment. And there is a mention of it with regards to under the section on the Constitutional Law and Bill of Rights. The Second Amendment right guarantees the right to bear arms. Chapter 790 of the Fl Statute sets forth guidelines with regards to firearms regulation in the state of Florida. In addition to those textual references that we just went over, the Police Academy manual also has a communication exercise in which the Police Academy instructor puts the officers through a simulated traffic stop that the driver has a concealed carry license and a concealed weapon on their person. There's a range of acceptable behavior. That's a topic for a whole nother video. If you're interested in that topic, let me know down in the comments below and I can dive into that. While preparing for this video, I received a phone call from a supervisor of a police department here in Central Florida. He had a question about an arrest one of his officers made and wanted to know the appropriate charge and asked for my advice. The facts are this. A police officer was called to the scene of a person passed out behind the wheel of a car, and when he arrived there, he found a person slumped over behind the wheel, and from the driver's side window, he was able to look into the vehicle and was able to see a firearm sitting on the passenger seat. The firearm was not encased, not in a holster, and I don't know if it was loaded, but it had a magazine in it. I don't know if there was an actual round in the chamber, but definitely had a magazine in the magazine well. So the officer charges the guy with possession of a concealed firearm, a third-degree felony punishable by 5 years in prison. We looked at the concealed carry statute. We then looked at the open carry statute. And then we looked to this possession in a private conveyance statute right here. Notwithstanding subsection 2, it is lawful and is not a violation of 790.01 for a person 18 years or older to possess a concealed firearm or other weapon for self-defense or other lawful purpose within the interior of a private conveyance without a license, if the firearm or other weapon is securely encased or is not otherwise readily accessible for immediate use. He's over 18, concealed. Concealed. This is not a concealed weapon because by definition, it is visible to the police officer as he's standing where an ordinary person can stand, looking from the driver's side window into the vehicle. So we don't meet this requirement here in this statute because it's not a concealed weapon. Okay? So if we don't meet that requirement because it's not concealed, the concealed carry statute is not applicable. If the concealed carry statute is not applicable, that leaves us with open carry as a possibility. That's punishable as a second-degree misdemeanor. 60 days in jail, $500 fine. So now this officer has to make the determination, am I going to book this guy in under the serious felony charge, get that stat, it's all about stats, or the more applicable misdemeanor charge. Now, I know this officer, I know he's hard charging, I like him, he's a good guy, he just wants to do the right thing. It's just new area. They're not used to it. Hasn't looked into it yet. He'll fix it for the next time and everything will be good to go. That's all we can ask from our police officers. There is so much to talk about with gun law. Stand your ground, tactics, open carry, concealed carry, carrying your vehicle, all kinds of stuff. Hit me up in the comments below, subscribe, like the video, do all that stuff. Have a good one.